My name's Liz Gow. I'm a person in long-term recovery from addiction, and I've been in recovery for over 8 years now. I don't think any child sits there and says, when I grow up, I want to stick needles in my arms and I want to live on the streets and I want to live the life that I've led. When I was a kid, I wanted to either be a teacher or I wanted to save all of the starving kids in Africa. I wasn't sure how I was going to do that, but that was one of my plans. I do think that we were quite a normal family, though when my parents got divorced, I found that a huge challenge. I think in primary school, I started to notice that feeling of being a little bit separate. I would spend a lot of time reading books. It was a way of disassociating with how I felt. At 15, I got drunk one night. I stayed with a friend. Then the next night, I slept in Plumpton Park. It was a bit scary. I was all alone in the cold on this table. There were lots of other nights like that to come. I started staying in squats, someone's car, youth refuges, on the street. It makes absolutely no sense. I could have gone and stayed with any family member, but I guess I just wanted to be separate from myself. The first time I took heroin, I felt like I wasn't me, and that was a really nice thing. I didn't want to feel like me because I felt at the core of myself I wasn't good enough. I just wanted someone to love me. At 16, I got into my first abusive relationship. Then at 18, I met this guy in King's Cross at the Fountain. That relationship turned violent within the first month, and that's what I thought I was worth. I know that whether drugs were legal or illegal, I was taking them. I did overdose at United's medically supervised injection centre. Nobody judged me. All of the staff had compassion. Just really, I guess, really met me where I was at. I don't think I ever walked in there thinking, oh, they might save my life today, but thank God they did. I fell pregnant at 19. This little boy that I loved so much, and I left the hospital, and on the way home I stopped at Cash Stop to get a loan so that I could use, because I didn't know how not to. When he turned 3, he went to live with my mother. When she came to ask me if she could take him, I knew it was the right thing to do. Once my son was gone, I just used more and more and more, because how do you cope? Like, as a mother who can't look after her child, and you look at society's views on addiction and you look at society's views on those junkies who choose to use. And I thought that of myself. I had points throughout my using where I thought I was a putrid gutter junkie. I didn't have an understanding of addiction, and I didn't have an understanding that I was actually unwell and I needed treatment. I have a lot of friends who have passed away. One friend who was a gorgeous young woman around my age died, overdosed while she was on a waiting list for a treatment centre. And I don't understand that. It's like the starving kids in Africa. I don't understand it. It makes no sense. This country has so much money, and yet a young woman with children who suffers from addiction dies while waiting for treatment. My friends are dying. Those junkies on the street are somebody's mother and somebody's child and somebody's father and brother and sister, and they're out there and they're dying and they don't need to be. I remember a Christmas day and I couldn't ring my son because he was going to say, "Mum, are you coming to see me for Christmas?" And I couldn't get on the train and go there because I just had to keep using. I went to the phone box a few times. I rang the dealer every single time. I don't think I even got close to making that call. As I mixed up the drugs, I sat there and I cried, and as I injected myself, I sat there and I cried. I hated myself so much. And somewhere in there, I somehow had a moment where I realised I was going to die in a gutter, and one day my son would know that. And I got a bed in a women and children's program. It's one of the only ones of its kind in this country, which is absolutely crazy. It took me months to get into that treatment centre, and I had to ring every single week. While I was in there, I got hope for the first time in my life. A typical day for me at the moment is trying to drag my 14-year-old son out of a bed that's in my home, and getting my daughter, who is 2.5, up and out of bed and breakfast. I'm not where I want to be. There's always work to be done with anyone, but I can look in the mirror and go, I'm okay today. My hopes and dreams for the future are very much not for myself personally. Honestly, if there was treatment centres for everyone who needed it, I would be the happiest person in the world.